It was winter time and snowing hard on the island of Sodor. Although free from their Korean drivers at last, Donald and Douglas had given in new drivers, who were somewhat pushovers, but not nearly as terrible as the Korean drivers, although they still had a thing for drugs. During this time of year, as usual, Donald and Douglas had been employed to help clear snow from the lines. Los six, Arnold said Douglas as they were clearing a bigger drift of snow. Even though our Korean drivers are in jail, what about our new drivers? They'll be fine, Dougie, said Arnold, we don't have to worry about being clashed in a police station. But they did have something else to worry about. Their new drivers were clearly drug addicts who had broken out of prison, but they weren't Woo and Sa. Said one of the drivers who was operating Arnold, these engines are clearly depressed. So why don't we just, shovel some crack in their fireboxes that'll make them happier. Then we can trick them into, doing drugs with us on a snowy day. The other driver agreed. And when they got back to the sheds later that evening, crack was shoved into Donald and Douglas's fireboxes. Somehow, they didn't notice this. Alright, said one of the drivers. Do you two want to do some drugs with us? Because Donald and Douglas were high due to the large amount of cocaine being shoved in their fireboxes, they gladly accepted the drugs. They decided to smoke some good old weed. Later that day, because Donald and Douglas hadn't cleared all the snow, Harvey was doing some track maintenance and pulled into Harlem Heights. As he stopped in the station, he couldn't get through due to the immense snow. Jesus Christ, said Harvey, where are Donald and Douglas in all of this? And he raised his crane and pressed on through the snow. He found out why the lines hadn't been cleared in a moment as he pulled back into Tidmouth's sheds and saw something horrifying. There at Tidmouth's sheds were Donald and Douglas along with most of the big engines and Duck and Oliver smoking crack. Jesus, said Harvey. I thought Henry and James had more common sense than this, but guess not. Guess I'll have to go get Thomas to do this snow clearing. At Farquhar's sheds, Thomas was not happy about having to clear the snow. Come on, he said to his driver. Rob, do I really have to go clear the snow? Sorry, Thomas, he said. Donald and Douglas are doing drugs at the sheds, and Sir Tom Hat needs us to do this. Here, also, you'll need your snowplow. Rob soon put on Thomas's snowplow, and they were ready to go clear the snow. Do I really have to use this? Thomas said to himself. Sorry, Thomas, said Rob, his driver. But it's for your own safety. I know it looks goofy, but better to be goofy than to be dead. And soon Thomas was out clearing snow from the lines. Soon Thomas pulled into Harlem Heights station, and he saw several police cars on the side. They were out investigating and looking for Donald and Douglas and the other engines smoking weed. Come on, said Thomas. I know exactly where they are. Get in my coaches, and I'll show you. The police soon agreed and got in Annie and Clarabelle. Thomas raced off to Tidmouth's sheds, eager to arrest Donald and Douglas. He reached the station just in time. The police soon swarmed in and arrested Donald and Douglas. When he questioned the bigger engines, Henry just said, It's not our fault. We were peer pressured. Yes, said James. With my hopefully soon-to-be boyfriend, we didn't know what to say. Somehow the police were stupid enough to believe this, but they were smart enough to arrest Donald and Douglas only. Soon, Thomas's driver had taken off his snowplow and was talking to the signalman, and even though they were being arrested, Douglas decided to get revenge on Thomas. He charged at the cheeky bastard and hit him off the line onto a flatbed truck with eggs and paint barrels. Paint barrels spilled all over Thomas, covering him in paint. But suddenly, the truck driver was so scared, he swerved away and crashed. After swerving so hard, Thomas went flying off the flatbed while the truck landed in the road on its side, right next to Tidmouth Hospital. Soon, Donald and Douglas were taken away to prison, and they were given life sentences, but I promise you they will escape. While Harvey lifted Thomas back onto a flatbed, he was worried about the future of the railway.